Welcome to Fated, a podcast brought to you by Majella and Carlie, two romantically obsessed readers who believe that great books must include declarations of undying love and deep thrusts of desire. Diving into the spicy, smutty fantasy genre, we are here for both the rattling of stars and headboards, and our podcast starts with the worlds of SJM, but delves into other realms. Did we mention that washboard abs and wands of all kinds are welcome in this inclusive and magically charged space? No topic is off limits, and no one is forced to have only one favourite heroine. Welcome to Fated, where we are unabashedly and wholeheartedly hot and heavy for spicy fantasy fiction. It's time to sit down and smut up. Warning, spoilers ahead. Hi, I'm Majella.
And I'm Carlie.
And we are Fated, the podcast, and we are back after a short interim where we didn't record, which actually felt like about 17 years, but was approximately 2 months, where life happened, which I think actually has happened for everyone this year. 2024 feels like a year.
A decade.
And so we're back because we wanted to end the year on a fated high, and we've got a couple of great episode topics that we're going to dive into. Today's topic will be, for the book lovers, what to get them for Christmas. I mean, also what to get them at any time of the year when you need to give a book lover a gift. But because we're coming into Christmas, we thought it would be very timely to talk about, as fellow book lovers, book obsessives, people that would happily spend days, weeks, months buried in a book. We feel very equipped to deal with gift questions. And so we have written a list, and we're just going to debate why we like it, if there's any particular things we would recommend, what to avoid, and drop some non-subtle hints for anyone that we know that is listening who might want to purchase us a present.
Yeah. Interesting when you just said we might have things that we don't want. And I was like, what would that be? But actually, I am at the point with my beautiful library that is incredibly abundant and robust, and my Kindle library. I'm at a point where if someone actually bought me a book, it would be likely they'd buy me something I already have. So unless I've asked for like a special limited edition or specifically told someone maybe really close to me of a series or a book I want, I would assume that a random, if they went to the store and bought me a book, would buy me one I've already got. All right, where will we kick off? What are some of the things that we brainstormed that we would love?
I actually think I want to start with a thing that I would like the most. And interesting, it's almost like the thing that you were like, I don't want that. But I love the idea of a book box or a book subscription where every month you get sent a book, a random book, because I love a surprise. I mean, I love a surprise until I open it and then I think, I don't want to read this book, or I've already got this book. But I do feel like there's something in the mystery and the joy of having this ongoing gift. And because as well, I mostly purchase Kindle books at the moment, just because I always purchase it for a first time on a Kindle. And then if I love it, I'll purchase it in a hardback or in a paperback, because there is limited space on the bookshelves. Yeah. You know, you have to be really mindful of that when you read as many books as us, that there isn't unlimited space. And both of us also are thrifters, and that's a real problem if you go to a bookstore and the books are like $1 and you're like, I could buy 20 books for $20. And sometimes if the thrifting gods are looking down on you, you will find 20 great books. You know, there will be a whole someone will have donated a whole series and you'll be like, oh, that is 8 books right there in pristine condition. So I think that the book box and the book subscription is something for me that feels like a gift that you get all year. So every month you open a book and you think, oh, I've got something to look forward to. You've got this anticipation. There's this element of surprise. You can choose the genre. In some, when you sign up, you can actually like put down a list of books you've already got to be like, please don't. Like some allow you to be quite specific, which I really like. Like I feel like when I jumped onto like Book Grocer, it might have been Book Grocer. It was very like, here's your category and your genre, but also are there any things that you really dislike and any books that you definitely don't want, or you know, if you were gifting it to someone. So I really love that idea. It definitely sits on the higher end of the cost, the gift cost, but I just love it. You?
Yeah, and I think it's really cool to shout out a couple that I really like as well, because it's funny you mentioned that straight off the bat, because last week Look, I have a dream. I have a dream because I thrift so much and I find so many books. Literally 2 days ago, I was texting Majella from a thrift store slash op shop, we call them here in Australia, showing her this dress that I'm wearing today that I'd got for a bargain. But what Majella doesn't realize that I didn't confess is I also walked out with another 6 or 7 books because I
The
just,
series?
yeah, I just seem to have I don't know. I just seem to be in the right place at the right time. And so I came home and I was like, what if I could create a service where I could just thrift to people and find their books for them? Anyway, then I, of course, went down a rabbit hole on Google and found all these incredible book subscription companies here in Australia and around the world. So Booksies, BOOXIES, I hadn't seen them before. Bookbox Australia, Lux Read, you've got Book Grocer. There's so many. There's some that only do certain genres, and it actually is interesting that most of them that I found don't seem to have a big romantasy category or option. So there's some space there, especially in Australia. We have to otherwise usually buy from the US and get it shipped, which just for me is out of the budget. And I would assume is for so many people who'd like to buy that for their loved one at this time of year or for a birthday as well. So yeah, go looking. There are plenty there. You might just need to do a little bit of a hunt. I mean, gosh, yes, a box of books delivered to my door every month. Sure, as long as they're like new releases and it's unlikely that I've got them because I just hate doubling up and I feel like that's wasteful. But anyway, great.
Sure. Yeah.
Love that.
Then maybe we could move into things that are a little bit more tangible in terms of, let's start with glassware and mugs, because I feel like it seems to be mandatory that if you're reading a book, you're holding a tea or a coffee or a wine, or you have to hydrate. And if you've already got your big sippy cup, then you may want to profess your obsessions to the world via a mug. I don't drink cold drinks. Like I don't drink an iced latte or an iced tea or anything, but there's so many cool, like tall, skinny, clear glasses with like, a lid and a straw, and that on the side is like phrases from books, phrases that sound like the vibe but are not exactly right because you have to be so aware of. Yes, exactly. But I love the idea that you could, if you knew your person that you're gifting for enough that you knew that she was into romantasy, or she struggled to sleep and when she's in the middle of a book, or there's little things that you knew that she always looked forward to something, or she always read in the same spot, and you could find a mug that matched up with that particular sort of reading quirk. There was so many cool ones. There was a couple that was so like racy, like they were definitely for the smut lovers, where you just be like, on the outside it would say something like, just getting started, down the bottom it would be something just like with your cock, and you'd just be like, it was
taking that one to work. That's not going on the Christmas table, that one. That might come out later after a bit of eggnog, a bit of champagne. Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought about buying a few of them and I thought, they're sitting in the cupboard next to my kids' Marvel cups and stuff, probably not appropriate yet. Maybe when they move out. Love that. Always need a mug.
Staying within the kitchen, I thought we could just jump quickly across to, which isn't for everyone, but I don't know if this is like saying that I'm getting older, but tea towels. I'm really into tea towels at the moment.
Yeah.
But it is also wild to me because the idea of spending $40 on a tea towel because it's a cool like picture of a library or something, like I can't do it. But if it was gifted to me, so great. And I love the idea that people are actually like ironing them and then framing them. So it becomes this really cool piece of art. But I can't justify the purchase. Like I can't go out and just be like, yeah. Like I can't use that tea towel if I had to spend that amount of money on it. But if someone gifted me a tea towel,
a decorative tea towel, and you might be able to get away with it in your household. I don't know what your partner's like, but in my household, I have decorative items, right? And I do have like a Christmas tea towel. And I say, this is not actually for dishes. This is actually not to be used for the function in which it was created. Just don't touch it. And inevitably it's screwed up in a bowl with God knows what on it on the bench. But I do shout out to an incredible Aussie business, BabyMac. If you follow Beth McDonald on Instagram, I followed her for like 12 years. She actually sells these really great hangers for tea towels, so you can display it as art. And she has, they sell out all the time every time she gets them in stock, because there's people like you and I that are like, yes, if someone gifted me that tea towel, it would probably be needing to be framed or hung and a piece of art in my household, not thrown on the bench or hanging on my dirty oven. But yeah, I will say that isn't probably an older person's dream.
Is it though? I mean, I feel like if you gave it to like a 25-year-old who was a book geek, like how could they not be into it? Like, I don't know. I just feel like because I'm on TikTok, I feel ageless. I feel like I'm like, I know exactly what the 15-year-olds are into, what the 22-year-olds. I'm basically 28 anyway. So like that's my age group.
Yeah.
So
come hang out with my 20-year-old nieces and nephews. They tell me all the time that I have no clue anymore. And I try to convince them that I'm still young and hip, and it doesn't work at all. I'm a bit of a minimalist and don't love clutter, so I'm a bit more picky. I've noticed. I'm going to be like, oh, where am I going to put that? How am I going to display that? I've got nowhere to display that. I don't want that to sit in the back of the cupboard. Thanks, but meh.
Yeah. So I guess moving into like the last bit of the sort of in the home category, it would be candles and like blankets and throws, because I feel like the whole experience of reading is to take us out of our reality into the books world. But while we're doing that, we want to be cozy. You know, even in the middle of summer, I would rather sit in air conditioning under a blanket reading my book than out in like the sauna like temperatures in the sun. I feel like, again, though, you have to know your audience. You have to know sort of what their vibe is in terms of, would they actually want a novelty blanket where it's kind of like a blanket that's covered in, you know, book covers or something, or like a picture of a library or bookish related things? Or would they rather just a really luxe cashmere blend blanket that they wouldn't buy themselves? Or would they actually rather something that's really tough and durable, that it doesn't matter if they spill the coffee and the chocolate dribs while they're distracted reading? They spit things when something happens. You know, they're sobbing. There's like snot and tears. You know, like all the bodily fluids. I think you have to kind of gauge your person and be like, would this person really just appreciate a super luxe, like high quality blanket that they probably wouldn't buy themselves? Like, not many people are going to be buying themselves like a cashmere blend, or, you know, like an Angora blend or something like, or a fake fur or something that's just so decadent feeling. Or would they prefer something that they can just be like, oh, this is great, it's big and it's cozy, but do anything on this and it's okay if I wreck it?
Do anything on this. I can grab my partner and do anything on this when I get that chapter in that book.
That's right. We have to be practical. We have to be practical.
I love it. Yep, absolutely. And I remember this winter here in Australia trying to find a heated blanket, and they were sold out absolutely everywhere. So, if my husband's listening to this, or any of my friends who happen to be buying me a present, if you can find, even if you can just locate a heated blanket this winter in Australia and send me the link, that would be a huge gift, because I just couldn't get one. And that would have been so. Yep. There you go, everyone. Temple & Webster, beautiful, $120 in stock currently right now. There you go. That one's gorgeous. Lovely sage green. Look at me adding to cart. No, I will not. I will not add to cart. I will add.
And then next winter you'll be like, why did I not buy that?
Well, because they're available in summer, of course, but not when I wanted it, which was, you know, the depths of Australian winter, which isn't very deep compared to our Canadian and American listeners. Sorry, but it was close.
The other thing in that sort of home furnishings was candles, which I actually think at the moment are incredible in terms of comedic value and really specific niche scents. And, you know, it's, I think the candle makers of Etsy in particular have really like leaned deeply into the smart romanticy world to pull out just like incredible phrases and taglines and TikTok trends, and then they've blended it with like all the typical, you know, cinnamon and a hint of snow and cedarwood and you know, like male musk, whatever. Some of them are really funny, and then some you've just got like, great graphics and names of the candles.
Always love a candle.
Yeah.
Exhibit A, candle.
Yeah.
I bought Majella a candle earlier this year. I can't remember which character it was based on. I feel like it was Rowan, but maybe it wasn't. Yeah, so you'll find the scents that match.
You can't even take it out of the. I just don't want to take it out of the things. Smell and wingspan. Because,
Yes.
we talk so much about, I just can't take it out of the box. Like, it feels like.
Come on, use it. I'll buy you another one for Christmas. Use it. That's what candles are for. I find it hilarious when people don't burn candles. I'm like,
I burn so many candles, but that one feels special. Like I've got other.
I'll get you another one. We'll get it. We'll get a candle sponsorship, and you'll just have candles forever. Let's do that.
A fated range. That's so great. I already know all the flavors, and then the game could be guessing which character it actually relates to. Like, is this Wilder's scent? Is this?
Been teasing these candles all year, so maybe as part of our 2025 plan, listeners, we can just bombard Majella with. We want candles. We want candles. Yeah. We want candles. When's the range coming in?
Accountability, and I also need to think that people actually care. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, I don't like to create in the void.
I tell her, but she doesn't believe me. So you guys all need to send in comments that you would like, and who you'd like a candle scent of in your house.
Yes, I think we should include the females, because originally it was just going to be like the male scents, but like, maybe we also, Aylin has like smoking embers, and she has lemon verbena.
Lemon.
Yeah, and the smell of crackling lightning, which I'm just kind of like, I'm not sure how to bottle that, but
we should do one that's like, I've been fighting in the woods for 2 months and I'm unbathed. That's smell. Because that's more realistic. But anyway,
but probably by that time you've actually like become one with the woods, and you just evergreen and fresh skies or something. It'd be so great. I think this is definitely a 2025 plan. Okay, so that's really all the things that I thought that we could have in terms of. Oh no, the one other kind of haberdashery homeware thing was, I love the idea of getting floating shelves that are able to be put into rentals as well as normal homes. There's so many fun designs if you want to display just like 4 of your favorite books somewhere, rather than having like the whole bookshelf. It's like, it'd be so nice, in your bedroom, having like, if you had a spare wall near your bed where you could like stack your 6 favorites or something, or that's where you keep your big, the reading TBR that's kind of currently in action, or you have it in the kitchen and you use it more as a display, like 3 books and put a little coffee cup on top. Like, I just really love that idea, but you have to know people's homes.
Love that. Love all of that. Yes, more bookshelves is always a good thing. Totally up for that. Anywhere that we can put books. And maybe on your list, Majella, is the sliding ladder that you can talk about occasionally.
Yeah, I want that. I want it so bad.
Very cool. What category you want to go into next? Because I'm looking at reading lights and thinking, is that homewares? Is that?
Well, I feel like that was more with tech, like Kindle, reading lights.
The only thing I was thinking about is if someone paid for my Kindle subscription every year, that would be amazing.
You can just send them a link and they can purchase it as a gift. I mean, we are considering a Patreon next year, a space where you come and hang out with us, and we do Zooms and we have more kind of intimate chats, and we do the reading retreats. And I mean, that is the plan. 2024 steered us slightly off track with its wild curveballs.
Work with us. We had so many big plans. That's okay. It's only our first year. It's okay. This is our foundation year. This was let's get the foundations built. Right. They got shaken a bit. That's okay. They're here. They're strong. We'll come back. It's all good.
Geminis and Scorpios are meant to be having this amazing career year in 2025. It's because something moved out of something into something else, and it's
okay. I'll believe it. I will take that. All right, back to the gifts.
So into that was also the Kindle, where you mentioned buying the Kindle subscription, but also there are like new Kindles out finally, like new designs, new colors, new shapes with new firmware and technology built into them. So if you have a reader in your midst who reads a lot of Kindle books, it is such a beautiful, useful gift that they will use every day. And they will appreciate every time they open that up and be like, oh my goodness, I got to get the green one and it's so pretty. And I
Yeah.
can now see it wherever I put it because it's not this black thing that lost in piles of stuff. And
Yeah.
it is a higher price point. But if it's your partner or someone that you wanted to do a group gift for someone, if, it's probably not a secret Santa gift, but it could be the gift where, like, if the family's buying for one person, that would be a great gift.
Absolutely. And, I don't think we should leave out the Kobo and the other options too. My sister's got a Kobo and loves it. And it also in Australia links to Libby. So through the Kobo, you can get free books through your library all year. So that's really convenient because we don't have a sponsorship by Amazon yet. So we can say that, Kobo. So there's a few different options out there to look at, but an e-reader. So many of my friends ask me about getting an e-reader, and I'm honest. I say I refused for years because I love the smell of books, the feel of books, the paperbacks. I love my books, but gosh, you can't beat an e-reader when you are traveling. And for me, commuting to work, and sometimes I have to read sitting when a kid doesn't show up for an appointment, and I'm just like, I've got nothing much to do. I'm sitting at a school, they're late. I'll read for 15 minutes. I don't want to carry my book everywhere. So I've always got that sitting in the side of my work bag. Yeah, would be very, very happy. Still very happy I got one of those for a gift for my
Yes,
40th.
exactly.
Stickers are good. Kindle sleeves and covers, if you know their likes, or you can get them a voucher. Up near where Majella lives, there is a really great bookshop called Salty Reads, and so she stocks a lot of really cool stuff for Kindles, and she makes her own stickers and merch there too. I mean, there's so many we could call out, but I've got a few Salty Reads stickers on my Kindle. That's why I mention it. So always fun at any age, right? I'm 42. Love some stickers. Love my little decorative bits that show who I am and what I'm about and what I read. So fun.
Yeah, totally.
Is it
The other thing that ties in with the Kindles is just all the cool reading lights that you can actually buy. I do find sometimes, like, I still have a lamp on when I read with a Kindle because it is
Mhm.
a very electronic vibe kind of light. Whereas if you get all these cute little reading lights, they can clip onto your bed head, they can clip onto the book, they can clip onto your bedside table, and there's like lots of different designs. So I feel like a reading light is probably something that you may not purchase yourself because it feels a bit boring, but it's a really handy and practical gift. And especially if you get a pretty one,
Yeah.
it's like a good looking gift.
Yeah. I bought my husband one last Christmas, and I have used it more than he has because he reads like one book a year. I actually don't think he's read a book this year. So it has been really handy because he's asleep beside me and I've got, just one more chapter to read. So they are really great, and so you can soften the lighting. It's very good on the eyes. Don't buy a $5 one on Temu. They're just shit. They just break. They snap. The light doesn't last. Like, get a good one. I think it was about $30, and I know that might sound like a lot, but it has lasted. It's easy to use. The battery life's great.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think with all of that, try and buy everything we mentioned. Try and buy quality, buy it once so that they can have it for a long time. And also, I guess the other thing to remember is, like, definitely keep receipts and everything, like, because it doesn't really matter that they find out the price. If they're not going to use it, it's just better that they can swap it. Like, it's better that they can swap it for the color they want, the style they prefer. If they're never going to use, a reading light, they could swap it and get like just an actual book. I just think us book lovers seem to be like very appreciative of gifts, but also quite specific in what we like. Exactly.
I don't want to give you a gift voucher. I'm so happy with a gift voucher to Dimmicks or one of my favorite indie bookstores. Again, trying to support as much as I can our smaller booksellers. Like, happy with a voucher. Really happy. You can also do, which is still the craze. I think last time we talked about this as well, but I've seen a lot of people doing it this year, of the, take them if you can to a bookstore, give them 2 minutes to look, and then give them 1 minute to grab whatever they can, or 30 seconds.
It's the most fun. Oh my God. I have sent that video to like Welly like 4 times, and I think now he's just kind of like, I'm not doing it because I tell him.
Oh no, Welly. You don't know how happy you'd make her. What else was I going to add in there? Oh, you know the little bookshelf, the little worlds that you can create? They come as a kit, and I've
Mhm.
forgotten, like a book nook. That's what I'm thinking. They're like little book nooks that you can create. A few of my beautiful girlfriends have sent me the links to that. Have you seen these? You'd love this. You should get this for Christmas. And I just think they look really, really beautiful. So creative. You build them and you can put them in, some of them have got lights, and you can pick the world you want. There's Harry Potter
It's a
ones.
tiny dollhouse, but it's a
Oh,
book
amazing.
nook.
It really speaks to the 6-year-old in me. And I know, I'm 42. I'm like, really, Carlie? Are you too old for that? I'm like, no, that would look so beautiful. So beautiful.
One time, or jigsaws and puzzles. I think they're like a really, I mean, I haven't seen any yet, but I love a themed board game. So if there was like a Smut and Wingspan board game that came out that was all filled, or like an Akatar board game, 1000% I would buy that in a heartbeat, because the amount of random shit I know about those characters in that world, I feel like I would win. I would win.
Who would you play against?
I mean, I would just invite anyone who lived in my area that was in our book club.
Yeah, true.
I would invite,
Absolutely.
like, there's definitely a few friends in Brisbane that I could coax up or I could go down, kind of thing.
Come along so I can smash you at this game. Please, it'd be fun. Let's go.
Yeah.
We've just got some really cool merch from Caffeine and Curses that we've got in our giveaway that's going at the moment for our birthday. She's got some really good quality book bags and totes and notepads and pens. And yeah, there's so much in there. I kind of think, there's just as much there as someone in your life that's like a sports fanatic and you look up their favorite sports team. Like there's coasters and mugs and shirts and flags and maps. And I got earlier this year one of our favorite scenes from the Throne of Glass series in a print for Majella that she could frame. Oh, there's so many options there. So don't be shy to just ask your book lover friend or partner or mum, which books do you love? Which characters do you love? And just go and have a search and you'll definitely find something out there. I know most of the people listening to this podcast will be the book lover. So you could pass this on or you could take some notes and give it to someone. You could just send them to us. So feel free. We're happy to get people in our inbox, in our DM saying, my friend really loves this series. What could I get? And we'll be like, let's give you some ideas. Here's some links. We love doing that. That would be fun. That would feel like we were book fairies.
And then just the last one is the category of what you would wear. And I feel like that would be t-shirts and hoodies and merch kind of stuff. And then also jewelry. I found these beautiful little like gold and silver rings that just had like the outline of an open book as across here. Or you could get things that had like a specific thing that's related to a series or something, like birthstones. Like there's particular stones that are related to certain worlds, and then like there are jewelers who are designing jewelry with specific romantic characters in mind. So you can actually go and get like an engagement ring that you would have gotten in the night court in Valeris. It's the color of Reese's eyes, that deep purple of the night sky surrounded by blah blah blah. So I think the jewelry is really cool, but you can get like cute little jewelry, like a toe ring that had a book on it, or a little anklet that had like a little book charm hanging off it. Or you could get something big and expensive.
I've seen the beautiful necklaces that have just got the stars or the Valaris mountain.
Yes, or even like an open book. Or
Etsy is a great place to look. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then the merch is just like, it is like wearing your team jersey. We have a Throne of Glass t-shirt that matches, which is
I wore it to a school the other day because I work in schools with young people, and I walked past and I heard a group of 13-year-old girls. They're like, that's a Taylor Swift shirt. And then as I left, they're like, no, that wasn't a Taylor Swift shirt, because it's got this, it's laid out like that, but it's actually Throne of Glass. And I was like, oh, I really wanted to go back, but I had to get to a meeting to go, okay, let's talk about this.
And also at 13, they're too young for Throne of Glass. I think.
Yeah, a little bit old. But also, I think it's in the library. I often see books that we read in the school libraries and kind of think, oh I feel it.
There is like actual like porn in the middle of these books.
That librarian has no clue what she has just put on that shelf.
Well, education.
I do love
it. But yeah, I think that's a great like collection of ideas that really speak to all types of book lovers, the people who are more minimal, the people who are more maximalist, the people who love really showy things, the people that would prefer something practical and useful, things that last for years and years, things that keep gifting throughout the year, things that are a bit more novelty and fun and playful. I think we've covered I think we've done an exceptional job here of giving gift ideas personally.
Yes. All right. Well, let's wrap up by sharing that our book club is still running on Fable. And if you'd like to join us in December, we are reading A Fate
Close to 200.
Inked in Blood. I know, it's growing rapidly, which is so fun. People from all over the world. So it's completely free on Fable. So you don't need anyone to pay for this. You can just download it, search us up, and jump on into the books that we're choosing. We, in 2025, will be asking more and more from you guys. What do you want to read? Have you got ideas? What can we add into our poll? Yeah, it's a really fun place. I froth on reading a chapter and jumping in and having a comment and a chat. So feel free to join us in there. As always, you can go to our website and you can download your free Romantasy book rec list, which it's on my list to refresh it. We've got so many more books to add to that, but you definitely get a huge list of suggestions. So if you're new to Romantasy or you're just kind of in a reading slump and you're a bit stuck and you want some recommendations, please join our email list. You get 2 emails a month.
Not yet.
And we hope that they're of value to you. So we'd love to have you on our email list going into next year, because fingers crossed, life will settle a little bit and we will be able to start offering some of the cool things that we have floating around in our minds and our hearts next year. Anything else from you, Majella?
Nothing from me. I think you wrapped that up beautifully. I feel like, it has just made me want to go out and start sourcing gifts. But I also feel like, not everyone in my gifting circle is into books. So I'm a bit like, probably can't get them like the merch hoodie that says.
Just force it on them and make them join the cult.
I could. I want willing victims, though. I don't want to force people. I want people to come rolling to me, being like, I cannot survive anymore without this in my life. And I go, yes.
But that said, I was walking around my local bookstore on Saturday, and there's beautiful coffee table books, there's travel books, there's poetry, I could have probably bought everyone in my life something from the bookstore, even if they're not a novel reader. So have a think about that. And wherever possible, please support small business, local business. If you can, stretch the budget, because it really does make a huge impact. Cool. All right. Chat to you in the next episode.
Great. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope that you felt like you were eavesdropping on a conversation that you have been dying to have with someone, to discuss all the tiny details and possible plot twists of the books that you've recently read. Perhaps you don't have someone to chat to after you finish one of those epic books, so please give the show a follow, and we would be honoured to be your book-obsessed friends. But mostly though, we hope it was fun, it gave you a giggle, it made you gasp, or encouraged you to pick up a different author. Please share it with someone who you think would also love it, and drop us a review, letting us know what you loved and what you want to hear from us in the future. We will be back with another episode soon. Happy reading.